Hi, I watched Dear Doctor, I'm Coming for Soul, and here's my review. Karn is a surgeon who is dedicated to saving lives. However, he is followed by a Grim Reaper whose job is the complete opposite of him. I started Dear Doctor with absolutely no expectations at all, whether good or bad, and this is a very, very good surprise for me. I was very into it the whole time. I think the beginning of the drama is very strong and very interesting, and it's strong enough to, I think, really interest you right away in the story. Also, something that really keeps you interested all along is that they reveal a lot of stuff, but not in one moment of the drama. It's like they sprinkle the drama with some revelations or some details that make things a bit more clear for some things. They sprinkle the drama all throughout, and so you're never really bored because it's like you're always learning something new or understanding at least something new. So this is very well done, I think. Overall, the acting and the OST are both pretty good. I was honestly pretty on board with the acting in this drama, so nothing to say on this. Very, very nice. However, two things maybe that could be a bit of a throw-off if you haven't seen this drama. I don't think it's a spoil to say this, but it's pretty much a slow burn. So if you don't really like slow burns, maybe this would not easily be the best drama for you, but I still recommend it because it's very nice. You'll see. So this, and second thing, and again, I don't think it's a spoil to talk about this here. I think that the story doesn't do a good job at really explaining what the job of a Grim Reaper is. I think it remains very confusing for the whole duration of the drama, and it's a bit weird, but I'm going to go a bit more into detail right now in a spoiler part. So like I was just saying about this Grim Reaper thing is something that I really tried to think a lot about watching the drama, but I couldn't really put my hand on what was a Grim Reaper's job. Because if you listen to Karn, it's like a Grim Reaper comes and kill people that they receive a card from, whether a doctor can save them or not. So even if this person could have a chance to live thanks to a doctor, if the Grim Reaper comes and take the person, that's it. So they can kill a person that could be saved. So from Karn's side, it's more something like this. But when you watch it, it's more like the person is bound to die. This person is not going to be saved. They are dead. But at the same time, a doctor can save a person whose card appeared for a Grim Reaper. So this means that this person is savable. So it doesn't really make sense because in a side, it's like a Grim Reaper is there to kill people who still can be saved in a sense, but in the same time it's not. It's because it's their time to die and you can't change their time. So they are not really killing them. They are just really collecting souls. So the whole time it remains very confusing, and sometimes they're like, oh yeah, so they do kill, and then 3 episodes later you're like, oh no, so they just collect, right? I don't know if they didn't know or if they really didn't explain this correctly, but this is something that really confused me during the drama. Now, for almost the beginning, and I'm pretty sure I was not alone on this, I really couldn't see how this could have a good ending. Clearly, in the first place, from a human, a doctor, and someone who's dead, and a Grim Reaper, I don't know how it can work, right? It seems difficult. And in Drama Land, it's usually one of the two, or there's a miracle happening and they can live happily ever after, which doesn't happen very often, or it just doesn't work and the person who's supposed to disappear. So usually it's one of the two, and I really thought it was going to be the second option, but it is not. It's actually, we get a very bittersweet ending, in my opinion. I saw a lot of people talking about it and mentioning how of a happy ending it is in the end, but I still feel it's very, very bittersweet, at least in my opinion. Okay, it is very happy because in a sense, Prakan and Sanya get to live a full lifetime together and be happy, right? But at the same time, Sanya doesn't age, so he remains with his young face the whole time while Prakan becomes old. And then he is even there when Prakan dies, and he is there to guide his soul to the afterlife. So it's very, very sad. And then Sanya spends 20 years alone, clearly doing his job like he used to do it. And then after these 20 years, he meets Prakan's reincarnation with a young boy, maybe 10 max, I would say. And it's very, very sad. All this waiting, because in the end, Prakan is dead, so he's not feeling anything. He forgot, he doesn't have all these feelings anymore. But Sanya is still very much there, so it's so sad really for Sanya. Also something that maybe could be, I don't want to say weird, let's say it, that could be a bit weird is the relationship between Sanya and Prakan, because Sanya is a young adult when he knows young Prakan with a kid, and they have this friendship going on because they are both patients in the hospital. So they have this friendship going on, and then Prakan grows and Sanya dies. So he remains this young adult while he sees Prakan growing and growing, and then he falls for him when he's an adult. And so I can see how maybe it could make some people feel a bit uncomfortable about this, a bit borderline not right, a bit weird. It did it a bit for me, but really a tiny bit, but not that much. And it really stopped, I think, in the drama when Sanya actually makes a line between actually Sanya, him who was alive with young Prakan, and is him of now with Tua. One last thing I want to finish with is, what is Sanya's wish? We know, I think pretty early on in the drama, that Sanya became a Grim Reaper for a reason, because he has a wish, and if you become a Grim Reaper for long enough, you can have this wish granted to you. So I think it's made clear pretty early on, and it kind of remains something important in the drama that they talk about pretty often. And when Prakan is aware that Tua, or Sanya, has a wish, and that's why he's a Grim Reaper, and it doesn't want him to be a Grim Reaper for longer, and everything all around this. This other Grim Reaper says to Prakan, like, I'm not going to tell you what his wish is. You have to ask him yourself. But I didn't understand what was his wish. I don't know if maybe I missed it. Maybe it was to live a full life with Prakan or something, but it seems very unlikely that it was this. In the end, Prakan never asks him, or if he does, Sanya never says what his wish was. I kept thinking and thinking about it, and I just couldn't think about the wish. So if I missed this part, please tell me what the wish was and if it was granted in the end. And likewise, if you're like me and we actually never got to know what the wish was. And that's it for me with Dear Doctor. If you've watched it, I hope you enjoyed it as well. It's a very big surprise for me. I wasn't expecting anything, like I said, and so no expectations is always better than high expectations anyway. So yeah, I hope you liked it as well. If you haven't watched it, I completely recommend you to watch it if you like cute BLs and stuff that it's not mature, I could say, but it feels a bit more mature in a sense. Because while it's a bit fantasy, it's also it also talks about some, I think, maybe important subjects, if I could say. So yeah, I would absolutely recommend you this drama. Also, the acting is pretty good overall, so I think there's no real reason that would stop you to at least try it. So yeah, I hope you can give it a chance if you haven't. And yeah, great drama overall that I really enjoyed. Bye bye.